What is up, Bleacher Report? Jesse here with Last Second Sports. And today we've got Mock Draft 2.0. This time the rules are a little bit different. If you remember last time, we were able to just pick straight across. We couldn't trade, nothing. It was just going chalk. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to make trades. However, two rules. One, I cannot propose the trade. I can only accept a trade. Two, I cannot make more than two trades. So here's the way it will work. I may not at all make a trade. That is possible, depending on what comes our way. I'm not going to trade just to trade. You know what I mean? So I will make sure that I am actually making sound decisions. But I do want to say one thing real quick before we get too far into this, because if you watched yesterday's show, I talked about 9 players that the 49ers should look at drafting. I don't know how I overlooked this single player, but I have to talk about him today just real quick. Same format as yesterday. I'm going to talk about an edge rusher out of Georgia, Mykel Williams. Somehow, again, I don't know how he slipped my mind, but he should be there at 11. Strong possibility. So I have to throw him in this list and turn that 9 into 10. He is 6'5", 260 pounds, like I said, out of Georgia, PFF grade of 78.4. Here was the NFL.com write-up for Mykel Williams, an upside prospect with loads of traits. Williams simply needs more snaps and more time to fill out his frame. He's an explosive athlete who uses his exceptional length to keep tackles tight. He uses his exceptional length to keep tackles and tight ends at the end of his punch. He plays with good physicality in the trenches and is never pushed around. He's still learning moves and counters, but already has a big bull rush, good secondary effort, and the closing burst to become a sack blanket in the pocket. He's not there yet, but Williams' improvement to become an impactful 4-3 base and feels inevitable. The reason they talk about him like this is he's only 20 years old. He's very, very young. And Georgia does this. They send a lot of players to the draft that are young players. They don't necessarily make an impact year one. And a lot of times they're looked at as busts. Eagles have a couple of them. They have an edge rusher. His name slips me at this time, but they also have a linebacker in Nakobe Dean, who both their first years, they were looked at as busts. And now they are big time starters for a championship team. So that's the way that I look at Mykel Williams. He may come in. If the 49ers draft him, I could see a scenario where people are super upset after 1 year with his production. And then he just breaks out and is an absolute stud. So keep that in mind. Like I said, last night, I gave you 9 players to look out for, gave you a very similar breakdown. Somehow I forgot Mykel Williams, so I wanted to get his name out there because he certainly deserves it. All right. That being said, we've got to fix the San Francisco 49ers, and the only way to do that is to be GMs, and that means I have got to start this draft. So let's get it going. Like I said, rules are no more than 2 trades, and I cannot propose trades. I can only accept them. So here we go. We've got 2 trades already. All right. Trade number 1 is from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got to be honest, I'm already if I was a GM, I would like this trade because I like getting next year's second and third. But in a mock draft scenario, going from 11 to 36, you pick up 2 more picks, and then we don't get to use next year's picks at all because it's a mock draft. No, thank you. I'm going to say no to this one. The Chargers are offering 22, 55, and 158, and next year's second. This is intriguing. I think I'm going to take this one. And the reason that I am is because to me, there's probably 8 to 12, maybe 12 players that are first round worthy players. The way that I see it, let's just see who's on the board. The way that I see it is you've got guys like Tet McMillan and Tyler Warren, who to me are probably first round guys. And that wraps up this maybe 12 players that are worthy of those first round picks. If I've got 10 players that I've listed over the last 2 days in streaming here that I'm fine with taking any one of them, that means that most likely if I go back 11 spots, one of them is going to fall to me because Tet McMillan and Tyler Warren are going to be picked as well. So I'm going to take that risk. And let's see here. Wait a minute. Did I just close out of that on accident? No. What was it? It was the Chargers, right? Confirm. It was 22, 55. I think it was 158. And a third next year. You know what? I'm not even gonna do it, guys. Sorry. I got a little excited there and closed that window out. So we're just gonna restart it here. The same scenario is essentially gonna play out though. All right, literally the exact same scenario for the most part. All right. So we've got Detroit and we've got Green Bay. Both are offering a second next year. 28, 60, and 102, 23, 54, and 87. I like that way better, but we got to give up pick 75. But we gained 54 and 87. I'm going to accept it. And I'm not moving back again. We only get 2 trades here. So I'm going to reject these. Okay, here we are. We're in a spot where I'm totally fine here. Let's look at who we've got available to us. So yesterday, if you remember, I'm just going to go through real quick and give you the names that I was fine. The 10 names that I'm fine taking at 11. And if any of them are there at 23, I feel really, really good about this. Mykel Williams, Shamar Stewart, James Pierce, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, Kenneth Grant, Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, Kelvin Banks, and Jihad Campbell. So the way that I see it is I certainly have players that I like more than others. I love Walter Nolan and I love Jahdae Barron. Those are my 2 guys that I would love to have. So let's see who we've got available here. We've got Loveland, the tight end, Harmon. I like Harmon, but I'm a Ducks fan, and I don't like him near as much as I like Nolan. So, and I do see Nolan is there. I see Pierce is there also. Man, Grant's there. Jahdae Barron just went 2 picks before. So I'm going to take Walter Nolan. That's how we're going to start the draft. All right. So the Ravens are offering 59 and 91 for pick 43. Bills are offering 56 and 62. Let's see who's on the board. Is there a way to hide it and then bring it back? I don't understand how you unhide this. I don't understand. How do you unhide this? Hold on a second. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. It's probably what I did last time. And then I don't know how to get back to it. I got to be honest with you. I don't know who was on the board, but I don't want to move back from 43. I think there's too many good players there. And the 49ers need so much. So I'm fine anyways, not moving back. Man, Ezra Thomas is a really, really good player. That's tough to say no to him. We got Princely, who is, interestingly enough, we've got Nolan's teammate right there in Princely. But also, let's not forget that we got pick 54 coming up as well. So we've got 2 edge rushers that I like here. We've got Landon Jackson and we've got Princely. We've got Ezra Thomas at corner. And we got Maxwell Harrison at corner. I like both of them. I like Mimbu. And I like Connerly. So the question is what do I want to grab here? Man, this is tough because there's really two players at all of these positions. I also like Tate Ratledge. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick with the defense, but because we've got two edge rushers that I like there, Ezra Thomas is an absolute stud. He was Renardo Green's teammate last year in college. I think he's better than Renardo, and Renardo's been fantastic for the 49ers. Ezra's his ceiling is insane. Insane. So, in the spirit of sticking to defense, the 49ers do need a corner, and knowing I've got another pick coming up soon, I got to say yes to this. All right, we can get 69 and 106, or we can get 61 and 128. But we have to give up a fourth. I don't like that one. 69 and 106. 69 and 106. 69 and 106. I'm going to have to say no to this. I'm going to have to say no. The whole point of taking that last pick was the position of need was not as high, but we got players here that we love. So let's go with an edge here. Now I've got two completely different types of players here. I've got Landon Jackson, who is pretty similar, I think, frame wise to what Eric Armstead was coming out of college, but he's probably a slightly better pass rusher than Eric Armstead was coming out of college. Eric Armstead was a much better run defender. I do like, though, pairing teammates, much like what the Rams did last year and taking two Florida State guys. That really worked on their line because they had chemistry. We've already got one. We need another edge rusher. I think Princely is more of that pure speed guy, maybe closer to a D Ford type. I'm not saying he's exactly D Ford, but he's closer, 6'4", 244. And when you look at Landon, much bigger frame, 6'6", 264. I like this pure speed rusher type off the edge, opposite of Nick Bosa. And I like that he's teammates with Walter Nolan. I think they'll have chemistry right away. So I'm going to go ahead and draft him. Okay, so, I like this. This is only moving back 5 spots. But we pick up pick 137. I like this. I'm going to go ahead and make this our second and final trade here. I don't mind moving back 5 spots. All right, the rule is we now have to reject everything else. Everything else. Okay. Shamar Turner, I like. So here's the deal. We still need, if we're looking at needs, we still need a running back. And the reason I say running back now is because we know Kyle Shanahan's going to take one way higher than he should. So a running back, we need another defensive tackle. We could potentially use a second edge, but that's not as high up on the list. We need a linebacker. We need an offensive tackle. We could use a guard and a center, in my opinion. So let's start looking at what's available and does it fit the needs, or is there a clear prospect that's like, listen, you can't say no to this guy. Doesn't matter the position at all. You can't say no to him. Oh man, I love Anthony Belton. I'm hoping Belton is there when we draft again. He's like my guy. You know what I mean? Like, this is the hard part about drafting is that you just have guys that you love and you want on the team. And even if it feels like a reach, it's not like it's a big reach, by the way. It might be a slight reach, maybe. I've mocked him as high as 75 though. Knowing that we've got another pick and 8 picks, I think I might go that route. Listen, I'm not Shamar Turner's fine. I like other options later in this draft, at defensive tackle, right? Um, I'm not a big Latham fan. Cameron Williams is okay, but I personally don't think that he's better than Belton. Deion Walker, I'm not a fan of at all. Cam Scattaboo, yes, it is possible that Kyle loves him. I think there are other running backs that I'm totally fine having. We're obviously not in the market for a quarterback, so let's just make this easy and let's take our future left tackle and Anthony Belton right now. Anthony Belton's an absolute monster. I can't wait to get to the end of this draft and do the read ups here. You're if you're not aware of Anthony Belton, you will be very impressed about what they say, I'm sure. All right, so this is what I love. 8 picks later, here we are, and we've got essentially the same players. The same exact players for the most part. All right. So here we go again, where I don't love the guys in front. Gosh, man, I kind of like where we're at. I've got a couple prospects that I absolutely love sitting here that are quote unquote slight reaches again, much like with Anthony Belton. But like I said, I'm fine not taking Deion Walker or Shamar Turner. Joshua Farmer, I do like Joshua Farmer. Um, but again, we've got Walter Nolan. So here's my thought. I want a big body guy next to Walter Nolan if we can get him. If we can get a big body guy. Deion Walker, not a big fan. Um, and Shamar Turner is just way too close weight wise in what we've already got Walter Nolan. The 49ers do need a future linebacker. And Mondon is an absolute stud, in my opinion. I'm going to go that route. I'm going to go that route. Okay. What do we got? What do we got? Ooh, CJ West is there. I do like CJ West. I love Jalen Reed too. Could use a safety, that's for sure. Damian Martinez, I absolutely love. Jordan Phillips, I love. Okay. We got 113, 137, and 138. 113, 137. Okay. So Phillips is 312. Um, how much is CJ West? He's bigger. Yeah, he is. Okay, so CJ West is slightly bigger. Um, but I'm fine with either one of them at 137, assuming that they would fall. What do we do? What do we do? Let's go look at the running backs real quick. We've got Ollie Gordon, Dylan Sampson, Damian Martinez, Tootin. Okay, we got some guys. Devin Neal. All right, so I'm cool waiting on running back just because of what we've got available. What do we got at offensive guard? Oh, Luke Kandra. I love him too. Absolutely love him. But he would be a bit of a reach here, maybe a little bit more than what I would like to go with. Who do we got at centers? We got Gideon and we got Majors. Okay, I'm fine with both of those. So I don't know that we need to go center right away. Let's look at the defense. We need a safety still. Oh, we've got Malachi Moore and Jaden Reed. Okay. This draft is falling to us pretty beautifully. Um, man. Man. We got a lot of defensive tackles that I'm okay with as well. That's the thing. This draft is actually falling to us pretty well right now. I cannot be upset about it. Um, I just have one safety clearly above the rest. I do like Malachi Moore, but I like Jalen Reed a lot more. And let's see what we've got. Guard real quick. Gosh. All right, you know what? This is what's tough, man. Well, there's just board is just falling to you at a high level. We're gonna get our second defensive tackle. We're gonna get our second defensive tackle. Gosh, do I like CJ West or Phillips? CJ West or Phillips? CJ West or I like Pegasus as well, or Pegasus. So all right, we're gonna go with CJ West. We'll go with CJ West. All right, we got our second defensive tackle. Let's see what's on the board here. Quinn Ewers. Let's go get our quarterback for the future. Oh man. Okay, so here we go. We got the next two picks. All right. Got the next two picks, and we got another one coming up at 147 because of some of the trades that we made earlier. So let's look at the running backs. Let's see if there's somebody we have to have. Running backs went on a run there, it looks like. My gosh. What did we do? There's my guy. Jalen Reed went right before us. Running back. Yeah, running back. Man, running backs definitely went. Running backs definitely went. So we're likely going to have to take one here in the next two picks. And because we've got the next two anyways, out of these guys, as much as I love my Oregon brethren, as much as I love him, I do like Devin Neal a lot. I like Devin Neal a lot. So we're going to go with Devin Neal. And then we are going to go with, let's see if we've got safety here. Still, we got Malachi Moore. I do like that. I do like that. Offense, let's look at centers. Okay. We got one above Majors. Like Majors a lot. But I also like Gideon. I think Majors might fall to us, so I feel okay about that. And if not, Candra's there. So one of them should fall to us. One of them should fall to us. So let's go. Let's go safety here. Let's go Malachi Moore. Pick 138. Oh, as much as I would love to trade, I can no longer do it. Okay. I love how this draft has fallen to us so far. This has been great. We're here, pick 147. Candra's there. That's perfect. That's what I was hoping for. As is Jake Majors. This one's tough. All right, here's the deal. I really do like Jake Majors, and we've got an outside shot that he might be there. He might be there. I like Peebles a lot of defensive tackle. We could use 3 for sure, but we've already got 2. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with Kandra. And when I do the read up on Kandra, you're going to go, oh, yeah, that's a Kyle Shanahan guy written all over him. I think he can be our starting left guard for many, many, many years. I think Pooney could switch over to left guard as well if we feel like Kandra fits better at right guard. But this solidifies our guards for, assuming you can sign them both and keep them long term. This could give you your guards for the next 10 years. And we've got our left tackle in Belton, who I think can be your next 10-year starter as well after you've got Trent Williams moving on. So we've got our guards locked up. I love this. All right. Here we are at 160. Let's see what's left. Gosh, I feel like we've gotten most of our needs, which is fantastic. And we've also been going BPA, in my opinion, in a lot of these scenarios, even though we're taking other positions, we've gone BPA. For me, for the players that I want. I know that we haven't got BPA according to what their rankings are. That doesn't matter. In multiple scenarios, Anthony Belton and Mondin, I just love those prospects way more than what was on the board ahead of them. Those are my guys. I got to take them. And this is what NFL teams will do as well. You feel like some guys are reaches. They're not necessarily reaches if they are your guys. So here we are. We've got our defensive tackles. We could use a third. We've got our safety. We've got our running back. We don't need a quarterback. We've got our offensive tackle. We could use a second one potentially. Certainly got our linebacker. We could also use a second one of those. We've got our 2 left guards now, so we're good at guard. We've already got Azariah. So I always say Ezra, it's just easier, but it's Azariah technically. I believe anyways. So we're good there. And that brings us to our center of the future, who I cannot believe he's still here. And I'm totally comfortable taking him. My gosh, guys, I got to be honest with you. If you don't like this mock draft, then you're fired as my assistant GMs, okay? I don't know what else I could say. All right, let's look at some more edge rushers, see who's available. Please be there. Oh my gosh. Woo! He's there. Oh my gosh, he's there. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love this. Let's see who's there at tight end. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe he's there right now. Okay, there's 2 tight ends I'm totally fine having. Oh my god. Oh my. Woo! All right, you cannot say no to this player. Oh my god, I cannot believe he's there. Tyler Batty is still available. I love this player, especially this late. This is chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Let's see what's there at defensive tackle. Nazir Stackhouse is there. Yaya Black is there. I love both of them. Okay. Listen, I have got to go with Batty. 9 times out of 10, I get to this late in the draft and he's not there. He is not there. But the fact that he is there, we could use 2 edge rushers. It's not like we need just one. I am so thrilled. Batty to me, last year I had a player that I fell in love with, a center, all right, that I fell in love with, that I knew was going to be a super late round pick. He ended up on the Rams, and I'm not going to say his name because it frustrates me to no end. But the 49ers, I think 1 pick before, did not go with a center. They took a guard out of USC who did not end up on this team. And they left my guy sitting there right at center, he who shall not be named. And he ended up being their starting center for a majority of the year. Now, he had 1 awful rep at probably the worst time of the season, unfortunately. Unfortunately, he did. But he was also going up against arguably the best interior defensive player in the league right now. I mean, this is how dominant he is right now on the Eagles. So, oh my gosh. The fact that we got Batty is, I'm so excited about a player this late. Let's see what we've got at defensive tackle. We've still got Stackhouse. We've still got Black. Whew. Oh my gosh. This, honestly, guys, this might end up being the best mock draft I've done. I'm not joking you. That is not hyperbole. I've done a lot of mock drafts. I don't usually share them. I just do them for practice and whatever. This is the best mock draft I've done. Period. Absolute best mock draft I've done. Absolutely crazy. I'm at a loss for words. I'm so excited about this mock right now. All right, we do have 1 last pick. I would like to get a tight end on the team. And again, you're taking flyers. We also picked up a 2nd round pick next year. Guys, a 2nd round pick next year. Real GMs would be so thrilled with this. Wow. 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 I'm just so happy right now. Okay. Do we want Bartholomew or do we want Prescorn? Eurosic is good too. Bartholomew is probably the best athlete left. Prescorn is just a big body. Eurosic is good too. Oh my gosh. You know what? We'll just go chalk. We'll go with who they say is the best available. and that's it. You don't understand how geeked I would be if this ended up being our draft. I would be so smitten. All right, let's read up on all these players, okay? Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, 6'3", 296 pounds, is an athletic, three-technique defensive tackle, fits us perfectly, which is a valuable asset in today's NFL. Combine that with his leap in production in 2024 and his top-notch pedigree, and it's not hard to see why many are high on him entering the draft. Although only 21 years old, Nolan has shown improvement as a technician over the years, which has helped him make better use of his freakish combination of speed and power. He still has some more development to do, but he has shown that he is coachable and that it's important that it's an important trait for future success. With an NFL ready frame and in-game athleticism that's well above average for his position, Nolan figures to be an early round selection in 2025. We got him at 23. If he can continue to develop his plan as a pass rusher and work on his pad leverage a little bit, Nolan possesses a high ceiling at the next level. Gifted young prospect with production at a power four level don't often fall out of the first round. He didn't. We got him at 23. I would have been okay taking him at 11. Absolutely love getting Walter Nolan. I've watched Walter Nolan. I've watched actually all of these prospects. What am I saying? The prospects yesterday that I talked about, the top 10, I hadn't watched all of them. I have watched all these guys. Walter Nolan is an absolute game wrecker. He was consistently double teamed in the SEC. It didn't matter who they played. I think it was against Georgia potentially, if I remember correctly. Double teamed all game long. So, Azariah Thomas, cornerback out of Florida State, as I said, same school that Renardo Green came out of. He's a better prospect than Renardo Green. That doesn't mean he's going to be a better player, but he is a better prospect. And Renardo Green was a very good prospect. That was a great pick last year in round 2. We got another Florida State corner in round 2, and I think this one's going to be just as, if not better, just as good, if not better, than the one we originally got in Renardo Green. Let's read up about him. 6'1", 197. And for those of you that aren't familiar, RAS, that's your relative athletic score. So 8.17 is extremely good. Azariah Thomas is an exciting corner prospect with a unique skill set that will surely make him an attractive option early on in the 2025 NFL draft. Just a one-year starter at Florida State, Thomas lacked the experience. Lack of experience can be viewed as both a positive and a negative. He is not a refined player as it stands today, but he has a lot of room for improvement and will only get better with more playing time and NFL coaching. From a physical standpoint, Thomas has a lot to like. He's tall and has excellent length. Overall, he excels as an outside boundary corner in the NFL. His movement skills are good given his size and length, and he certainly has starting NFL potential. Thomas has a clear starting ability at outside corner, which is exactly what we could use, with his overall movement ability and length. There are holes in his game, as his technique and instincts still need to be developed, and his lack of foot speed and ball skill give me doubts about his ceiling. Listen, I think they're underselling Thomas. I get he was a one-year starter. Stud. Absolute stud. Anybody who watches him sees it. I wouldn't be shocked if he's not available at 43. And if he is, I think this is an absolute no-brainer. Give me Thomas. All right. Now we got Walter Nolan's teammate here in Princely. I'm not even going to say his last name. Uman Mielen. I'm going to say his last name. 6'4", 244, 8.98 relative athletic score, which is very good. Princely's collegiate production speaks for itself. but it's really his physical attributes and high motor that make Uman Mielen why Princely so much easier. Uman Mielen, an intriguing prospect. He's explosive off the snap and has the speed to give opposing offensive tackles fits off of the edge. His combination of speed and length, such a good D Ford comp, uh, gives him significant physical upside to work with at the next level. Uman Mielen could struggle early in his NFL career against the run. That's fine. Due to a play strength and leverage concerns, but the spatial awareness is there for him to eventually become a solid contributor in those situations. His best role early on would likely be a pass rush specialist. We've got Yatir Gross Matos, who can be your early down run stopper, so I'm good there. And he has the potential to develop into a quality 3 down starter in either a base 3-4 or 4-3 defensive scheme. Give me Princely at 54. Remember, those were via trades. The first trade that we made was we went from 11 to 23. We also got pick 54, 87, and a Green Bay Packers second round pick next year, which we don't get to use here, but setting us up well for 11 and 75. Totally fine there. That was great. And then after we traded 87 to move back 5 spots, we gave up a 6th-rounder next year, and we also got pick 137. With pick 92, we went with our future left tackle and Anthony Belton, 6'6", 336 pounds, relative athletic score of 7.73. I told you when I read about Anthony Belton, you're going to be very, very excited about this player. He's an absolute future stud potential written all over him. And the fact that he gets to sit a year and learn behind Trent Williams, I love even more. Anthony Belton is a physically imposing offensive tackle, 6'6", 336, you think? With the strength and length to control defenders at the line of scrimmage. He excels in pass protection, using his size and footwork to keep edge rushers at bay while maintaining balance against power moves. In the run game, he generates a solid push and plays with an aggressive mentality. He's got a little dog in him, helping open lanes for ball carriers. His awareness and ability to adjust to stunts make him a dependable presence on the line. However, he can improve his pad level. Fine. We're not even starting him this year, most likely. And hand placement to maximize his power and consistency. With refinement, he has a significant upside. Brother, you're going to sit a year. You're going to learn from Trent Williams, and you're going to come in and be our left tackle for the next 10 years. And we're all going to love that we got a steal at pick 92 in the future. All right. Mondin Jr., one of my top 3 linebackers in this draft. Maybe my second favorite linebacker in this draft. Absolutely love him. And I think he's going to be a beautiful, beautiful pick, especially at 100. All right. Mondin is an intelligent, experienced linebacker with 212 tackles over 4 seasons as a starter for the Bulldogs. Standing 6'3", 235 pounds. He combines an above average athleticism and reliable coverage skills, making him a versatile asset for NFL teams. Although he missed time in 2024 due to a foot injury, which may impact his draft stock, Mondin's ability to stay tight in coverage and disrupt routes will intrigue NFL teams, demonstrating that he is a strong tackler with the speed and range to pursue rushers. The Georgia linebacker has the skill set that makes him adaptable to a variety of defensive schemes at the next level. I absolutely love him. He could give him next to Fred Warner could give a heck of a tandem for the next few years. And while he's learning, if D Winters beats him out, That's okay too, because he can be our third guy potentially. But I think Munden is going to be a very good player in the NFL. Absolutely love him. And at pick 100, again, you're not getting perfect prospects. He's very, very good. Very athletic. CJ West, our second defensive tackle, 6'1", 316 pounds, relative athletic score of 9.15. Indiana Hoosiers defensive tackle CJ West earned an invite to the 2025 Shrine Bowl after a dominant showing in 2024, standing 6'2" and weighing 315 pounds, 6'1", 6'2", whatever. West excels as a nose tackle with excellent hand accuracy. This is what I love about him. Okay. So the 49ers don't use a traditional nose tackle. Okay. But the fact that he can play nose tackle tells you he is strong enough to be a two gap eater or a double team eater and a gap eater at the next level, which is exactly what they need in stopping the run. Okay. This is a perfect pairing with Walter Nolan, who also is a good run defender. You're not getting Javon Hargrave and Walter Nolan, who's a one trick pony. He's a good run defender as well and a good pass rusher. So he can do it all. But CJ West is the perfect pairing with him. West excels at nose tackle with an excellent hand accuracy and block shedding abilities. His talent in creating leverage on passing downs and plugging gaps makes him a promising rotational defensive lineman, well suited to thrive in the NFL's middle of the field. If he's your 2-down guy and Walter Nolan's your 3-down guy at pick 113, totally fine with that. And by the way, we got a third defensive tackle. So don't go anywhere. We got another one. All right, here's the running back we took. Kyle Shanahan's taking a running back, so get over it if you're not a fan. At least we didn't go super high at running back, right? We didn't take a running back at like 54 or something like that. But Devin Neal at 137, 5'11", 213, relative athletic score of 6.65. People forget about Devin Neal, but they shouldn't. After rushing for over 4,000 yards and scoring over 50 total touchdowns in 4 years at Kansas, Neal has somehow fallen under the radar in the NFL 2025 NFL draft running back class. Still, his evaluation holds middle round merit. At 5'11", 213 pounds, Neal has always been one of the more well put together backs. Despite his frame and compact mass, he has surprising burst and short area twitch, and he can weaponize that twitch with his sharp, creative feel to swim through crowds. With his short strider mold, Neal maxes out in space relatively quickly, and he's not overly physical, preferring to absorb rather than dish out contact. But he's a complete runner and a reliable, if unspectacular receiver with a bountiful future waiting on Sundays. So listen, he's not gonna route people up, but he can catch out of the backfield. And I know his relative athletic score is 6.65. You watch him play on Saturdays, he's very explosive, very explosive. So I'm totally fine with this pick at 137. Malachi Moore, we got our safety here at pick 138. Malachi Moore, 5'11", 196 out of Alabama. Malachi Moore is a playmaking safety who thrives in the deep field. We could use a center fielder here, folks. A true center fielder. The Alabama DB is a ball hawk, hauling in 7 interceptions in 2024, a natural cover safety. Moore combines athleticism with natural instincts to thrive in his own scheme that will allow his awareness, strong coverage skills, and anticipation to shine. We need a free safety that can play center field. Malachi Moore is your guy. And we got him at pick 138. Although there's one safety that I hoped had fallen ahead of him, I'm totally fine having Malachi Moore. All right. I told you when we drafted Luke Kandra that when I read this, it was going to be very clear this is a Shanahan guy. Tell me I'm not lying. Luke Kandra, 6'4", 319, relative athletic score of 9.34. Offensive guard out of Cincinnati. Luke Kandra transferred from Louisville to Cincinnati after 2 seasons. He's an above average athlete who gets off the ball quickly and moves well in space. He is also a physical offensive lineman who plays with a high motor in the run game. Kandra is a disciplined player that has unbelievably been penalized just twice in his entire college career. He had elite pass blocking production the past 2 seasons with 0 sacks and just 8 pressures allowed on 447 snaps. Kandra does have stiff hips, which impacts his overall pad level. He has a strong anchor in pass protection and can hold up to bigger and more physical edge rushers in the run game. Kandra is an impressive second-level blocker. When you hear about the second-level blocking, moves well in space, and is above average athlete who gets off the ball quickly, and you look at a Kyle Shanahan guard that is asked often to pull and get to the second level and wall off linebackers and potentially even safeties, tell me that is not the quintessential perfect offensive guard for this offense. Luke Kandra is that dude. And we still got Jake Majors. Oh my gosh. Jake Majors, center out of Texas, 6'3", 306 pounds, relative athletic score of 7.9. Jake Majors is a 5-year player. Kyle Shanahan once said the offensive center position is the heartbeat of his offense. He needs somebody who is smart and disciplined to play center. Jake Majors is that guy. 5-year player out of Texas who started 4 seasons and has improved each of those. While he is a very experienced player with over 3,700 career snaps, he only has experience lining up at center. That's okay, but has played against the top competition in the country. Majors has an average frame and length, plays low to the ground, and has excellent leverage as a pass blocker. He is a fluid athlete who can fire off the ball and moves well in space, allowing him to climb to the second level of a defense and win consistently. I laugh because, again, another Kyle Shanahan trait. Majors is a smart offensive lineman who has consistently shown the ability to pick up stunts and twists. This is your guy. Not only that, Jake Majors has I think he's given up 1 sack, I want to say, in the last 3 seasons. And that was in 2022. I don't believe he gave up any in 23 or 24. I could be mistaken on that. I'm pretty sure that's the stat on him. Either way, at 160, absolute steal. All right. You don't often get excited at pick 227. All right. I understand that. But sometimes you just have guys that you absolutely love. And in this scenario, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that a guy at 227 is going to be elite at the next level. That's not what I'm saying. But you're trying to take guys that have potential to be something. Tyler Batty is that guy. He is a steal at 227. All right. We're going to go over his read. But the athlete that you're getting here at this pick and the upside is absolutely incredible, in my opinion. Tyler Batty, 6'5", 271, relative athletic score of 8.76. Tyler Batty, a 5th-year senior from BYU, is a highly instinctual and physical, robust pass rusher known for his intense awareness and anticipation. He's an exceptional run defender, which is perfect. Him and Princely together, great rotation, potentially. With a long frame and powerful playing style, Batty offers NFL teams a reliable and high floor prospect. Is his mauling mentality and a strong foundation will enable him to contribute immediately at the professional level while further developing his pass rushing skills. At pick 227, you pair that with a pure pass rusher off the edge, and you have the upside of that athletic frame. this is another steal. And speaking of steals, Nazir Stackhouse, let's go with him. 6'3", 327, our third defensive tackle. We are making sure we are fixing both of these lines, hopefully, in this draft for many, many years to come. Nazir Stackhouse, 6'3", 327, relative athletic score of 6.04. Nazir Stackhouse is set to excel as an NFL nose tackle, using his strength to clog running lanes and disrupt offenses. A standout at Georgia, he effectively clears gaps and performs essential heavy work that often goes unnoticed. While his pass rushing ability is limited due to lighter footwork, his intelligence and physical prowess make him a valuable defensive asset poised for success at the next level. The 49ers seem to do this, right? And I've essentially taken the 49ers route here. Yes, they could use 3 defensive tackles. I have zero concerns about Walter Nolan being a good player at the next level. Zero. Like, other than injury, I have no doubts in my mind that he's going to be good at the next level. When you start getting round 4, 5, 6, 7, you like guys, right? You do like guys, but at the same time, you also have to understand that there are misses. And the 49ers have often missed on players that they have taken early and hit on players they've taken late of the same position. Now, best case scenario, I've got 3 guys. 2 of them are going to be strong rotational players in CJ West and Nazir Stackhouse. Walter Nolan is going to be your 3-down guy. Worst case scenario, if CJ West doesn't pan out, Nazir Stackhouse very well could. And they are similar players. And if Nazir Stackhouse doesn't pan out, who cares? 7th round pick. And CJ West was your higher pick anyways, right? So I'm basically guaranteeing I'm getting a run-stuffing defensive tackle out of this draft. As close to bulletproof as possible that I can go by taking 2 guys here. So there we go. And the last pick that we took, tight end out of Pittsburgh, Gavin Bartholomew, 6'4", 246, relative athletic score of 8.87. One thing I will say is that we got a lot of athletes in this draft. The 49ers talked about getting younger, faster. We did that in this draft for sure. Gavin Bartholomew, 6'4", 246, 8.87 relative athletic score. Gavin Bartholomew is a receiving first tight end with excellent versatility. His experience lining up in the slot, out wide, and as a traditional inline, or he has experience lining up in the slot, out wide, and as a traditional inline tight end. Was an active member of Pitt's special teams unit. Has been a relatively productive player since his true freshman season, with at least 20 catches and 250 yards in every season. Possesses decent speed, but has average overall explosion. Bartholomew struggles to separate against man, isn't a refined route runner, and his lack of explosion causes issues when in single coverage. He has issues fighting through contact and staying on his path as a route runner. Get physical with them, and defenders influence the path of the route. He can force some missed tackles with the ball in his hands, but it is an average overall after the catch threat. Has a good feel for zone coverage and knows how to find the soft spots to help out his quarterback. Inconsistent hands. Has had a drop rate of above 7% in each of his last 3 seasons. Has adequate strength as a run blocker, but technique and hand placement can be inconsistent, leading to lost reps. Here's the deal. George Kittle hopefully is here for the next few years and producing at a high level. The 49ers also signed their run blocking tight end and Luke Farrell. This is the last pick of the draft for the 49ers. You're certainly not getting a perfect prospect. Tight end was a position that I would love to just see what happens. Gavin Bartholomew physically can be something. I'm not saying necessarily special in this league, but he can be a good future tight end at number 2 for you. Okay. And if you've got great receiving weapons, he might be a guy that can get you 400 yards a season, as like a receiver or as a tight end one. Not all teams have elite tight ends, right? And George Kittle's not going to be a 49er forever. Maybe Bartholomew can eventually be that guy. Not necessarily George Kittle, certainly not George Kittle. But if you've got a great receiving core, great running back out of the backfield, and if he's option number 4 or 5 in a passing game and can get you 400 to 500 yards a season, 35 to 55 catches, something like that, that would be great. And if not, if he ends up being a bust, there's no such thing technically at pick 252. If he ends up not being a good player, you can't be a bust at 252. But if he ends up not being a good player, then so be it. And by the way, the kicker of this draft is we've also added a 2026 second round pick that we're not going to be able to use today. But there you go. Mock draft 2.0 with some trades. Absolutely crushed this draft. And like I said, if you don't like it, you're fired as my assistant general manager. Bleacher Report, as always, it's been phenomenal. Thank you for having me. This is Jesse running another 49ers Daily from Last Second Sports. We'll see you next Thursday. Much love. Peace.